When someone judges you, it's disheartening. It breaks you down. You start to believe what someone is saying. If they speak it over you enough, and if you're in a vulnerable enough of a state, you begin to internalize those things and actually, in your mind, say to yourself, well, maybe I really am those things. In my past, I had a higher up, a manager, tell me all the things that I am not and why I will be looked over. And a lot of it had to do with personality things, things that I couldn't really change at all. And what's tough is when someone judges you and they don't take the opportunity or they don't take the chance to get to know you or understand why you behave in the manner that you behave. This person had no idea of how much my uncle's death affected me, has no idea how much my biological mother's recent death affected me, has no idea how a friend of mine who decided that he didn't want to be on this earth anymore, how that affected me. These are all things that contribute to how I currently operate at any given time or place. And I'm just being vulnerable here. So you can't really judge someone until you walk a mile in their shoes, as the saying goes. You don't know what it took and what it takes and what it continually takes for me to get up every morning and do what I do on a regular basis and try and help people and try and help folks and try to be there and be a support system for people. You have no clue what it has taken for me to get to the place where I am right now. And so anyway, so when you get to a point where you begin to internalize these things, then you begin to say to yourself, well, maybe I'm not worthy. And I begin to go down a downward spiral in my mind where, okay, well, maybe I'm not worthy and I'll never be able to get to the financial heights that I want to get to, which means that I won't be able to take care of my family in the way that I want to take care of my family. I won't be able to give them the things that I've never had. And that's what I desperately want to do more than anything else, is give them the things that I've never had growing up, because I'm from a low income, originally from a low income community in a low income place. And so if I can't provide, if I really am the type of person who will not be able to be successful based on things that I can't control, based on my personality, how at times I'm an introverted person, because I'm introverted and I'm introspective, but at the same time, that gives me great strength to be able to listen to folks and then help hear things that they don't necessarily hear and be able to guide people and give advice and give great counsel. Those are my strengths, but I'm not always necessarily a talker, right? But until you sit down with me and get to know what I'm going through and what I have gone through, you would have no clue. And I'm the kind of person where if you put me in a room full of a whole bunch of people, I may say one or two words. But one-on-one, I'm great and I'm fantastic. And that's why I'm great at what I do. But this particular person had no clue. Just straight up judging me. Excuse me. So I adjust this. Sorry about that. Straight up judging me based on what they perceived in a moment, what they perceived in one conversation, what they perceived at a glance. And this is what folks do. Folks judge you in a snapshot. And they do that maybe because they've been judged. They do that maybe because they couldn't reach a certain point in their lives. So now they begin to pass that down onto you. You know, I watched a video where a motivational speaker said, okay, people who haven't achieved the things that they wanted to achieve or haven't achieved enough in their lives, and you define whatever enough is, but they haven't achieved a certain point in their lives, they subconsciously pass that on to you because they think it's impossible in their own mind. So you got to be careful in letting people prescribe to you what they think possible is. Possible is whatever you define it to be. And we got to, and as you have those negative doubts about yourself because of what someone else said, and it begins to bring you down and bring you to a dark place, you have to remind yourself that you are more than a conqueror. You have to remind yourself that you are above and not beneath. You have to remind yourself that you are the head and not the tail. These are things you have to be aware of, and I'm aware of that. I know that God will open up a window and pour out a blessing upon me that I won't have room enough to receive. That's what I know to be true. And these are the things that I have to constantly say to myself when I begin to doubt myself, and when people are judging me and they don't take the opportunity to understand how far I've come. And so I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Begin to talk back to those negative thoughts. Directly talk back to them in your mind, and everything that they tell you that you are not, I need you to say the opposite. And remind yourself that you are more than a conqueror. Remind yourself that you can do it. Remind yourself that things that people see as weaknesses are actually strengths. Right? We all have different strengths, and you may not be the greatest talker, you may not be the most eloquent person, but maybe you understand how to be a great support system for someone. Maybe you're a strategist and less of a talker. You could create a great strategy, a great plan for someone. All I'm saying is, we all have strengths, and it will be relying on those strengths that will get us to the places where we need to go. You can't be anything more than what you currently are, and that is enough. Think about it.